Imagine building a practice that puts people first and not insurance. And that's exactly what Dr. Kristen Self did in New Braunfels, Texas. She started her pediatric practice from scratch outside the traditional insurance grind and red tape and shaped it around what she believes matters most: prevention, transparency, and truly caring for families. And in this episode, Kristen opens up about the emotional ups and downs of staying independent. She talks about the moment a licensing issue forced her into an unexpected rebrand, how she turned local storytelling into a powerful trust builder, and what it really takes to create a calm, holistic, minimally invasive space for crunchy, ingredient conscious families. She gets real about the financial uncertainty, the value-driven decisions, the team culture she built, and why sticking to her mission in a big way. You'll walk away with practical takeaways on authentic leadership, honest communication, and creative marketing that actually connects with your community. So let's dive into how staying true to your vision and thinking outside of the box can shape the practice you've always wanted. All right, this week with me, I have the wonderful Dr. Kristen Self. Kristen, how's it going?
We're doing great down here. How are you?
Nice. Where's down here, if you don't mind me asking?
I am in New Braunfels, Texas, so right outside of San Antonio.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So you grew up there, you decided to start your practice there, or how did that come about?
I did not. So I grew up in South Louisiana, a town called Lafayette. And then my mom is from Texas. So all of my family lived over here. I graduated from college and got into the San Antonio Dental School, went there, graduated from there. And other than residency, where I did pediatric residency in South Carolina, I knew that we would kind of settle here and raise a family here and everything. So I'm happy to be in Texas. I figured I would end up here.
Nice. Okay, awesome. So then let's start with a quick snapshot. What kind of practice are you running today, and what makes it different in how it operates or serves patients?
So I have a pediatric dental practice, and we've been open for about a year. What makes us a little different is we cater to the more holistic crowd. So we're very minimally invasive. We do a lot of prevention talk, talking about diet. And we are also out of network with all insurance companies. So I chose to open up my practice this way and practice independently. And it has served us very well. And it allows me to practice in a way that I feel very passionately about and is very true to who I am. And the patients that come to see us understand that and recognize that. And they've been very pleased and happy with the services that we provide. So
Interesting. So you started out with no insurance.
correct.
Okay. So most owners design their practice or a business around what's possible, but you seem to have designed around what's kind of non-negotiable. So what's one thing you refuse to compromise on?
Oh, insurance dictating care. And when that is the priority of everything is like just what's covered, it limits you, especially in pediatric dentistry, because a lot of the stuff that we do that's minimally invasive, like silver diamine fluoride or like sealants on a primary tooth, insurance, that's not a covered benefit because that's just not their goal. And so that was really important to me because it's just the way that I view things, because I treat everybody as if they're my daughter. So if I wouldn't do it on my daughter, then I'm not going to do it for them. So it's just kind of like my guiding ethics.
Direction. Yeah. Like your principles. Kind of like, this is it. Kind of
Yes.
thing. I like that. Was there ever a moment, because you've been open for about a year, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So was there ever a moment where you're like, yeah, maybe we should take like one?
Absolutely. Yes.
So then talk to me about that feeling and that emotion, and then how'd you combat that?
It goes up and down. So we would have like really awesome days where we would get like 4 phone calls of new patients. And I'm like, yes, we're doing it. We're doing so good. And then the next day, no one would call. And then my husband and I, we take our daughter on a walk every night. That's like our evening cool down. And I specifically remember talking to him. I'm like, okay, like I might need to go in network. I might have to do it. And so then we would talk the strategy of like, okay, do we do like a certain set of plans, just one plan, an umbrella plan? Like, what do we do? And I'm so happy that I never did. I mean, I think it's always a possibility like that I might have to do that. But so far we've had 3 profitable months in a year. And I'm like, we're doing it. We're doing great. The other thing that happened during this startup process was I received a cease and desist and open for 6 weeks
Oh,
and had to change my name. And I could not advertise under my original practice name for 3 months. And that was very challenging, but we made it through. New sign, new name. And so just slowly like rebuilding. We had good momentum and then it dropped down, but then we were able to build back up.
the cease and desist, what's your practice name?
It is River Smiles Pediatric Dentistry. It was not anyone in the dental field. And that was part of the surprising part that just took all the breath out of me. Went to multiple attorneys about it. And, the decision that I made at the time was the least expensive way through this is to just change the name at this point. So it's River
Interesting.
Smiles, which is really cute. And, it kept all the same branding. And not very many people noticed, but I was also open with my patients and I put out like Instagram posts and everything about what was happening. So it wasn't like a mystery. I wanted to be very transparent and like, this is just what's happening. So
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing to do that? Like being transparent with because you know what I mean? You're kind of opening yourself up to like possibly more damage, but at the same time, it worked out for you. Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing? Or do you think sometimes people are overly private, like overly secretive, where they're like, I don't need to tell nobody anything. I'm embarrassed.
So I went back and forth on it and we surveyed some trusted people / also surveyed the company that did my branding. So when we set up the logo and the branding and the colors and the fonts, they asked their team to like, you as a parent, you're going to see this dentist, the name changes. Would you want to be told why? Or would you want to be prepared for that or just find out the name changed? And the vast majority of people said, I would want to know. So that's what I did. And it has worked out. I have found that being super honest, almost like brutally honest, has worked so well in my favor. And I feel like people are very appreciative of that. And it helps me live more authentically. And it's the way that I practice too. I mean, whenever I got out of residency, I basically made a rule for myself. If I can't show a parent on the x-ray or show a parent an intraoral photograph of something, then I'm not going to make a treatment plan for it. If they can't see it, then we just have to leave it alone.
Yeah. That transparency is inside the business side too. Well, because I feel like there's like a difference between, right, you want to be really, really honest, but then like transparency is something else where it's like, hey, you're just oversharing sometimes or maybe you're not kind of a thing. How do you find that line?
It's a balance. So you have to be judicious with that.
Gotcha. Like discerning. I like that. I like that a lot. You mentioned 3 profitable months.
Yes.
That's happening right now?
Yes.
Okay. So what have you seen
within the first
that?
13 months, month 9, 12, and 13 were profitable.
12 and 13. Okay. So now we're in month 14. How's that looking?
It's looking good. We have Thanksgiving break. So in the pediatric world, it's like all about school holidays and everything. So I'm hoping that gives us a big boost right before we take off a few days for the holiday.
All right. So let's like kind of dive into your systems and operations. When you spot something broken in the practice, like a system, a process, culture issue, what's your mental framework for fixing it without burning everyone out?
That's a good question. If it's something easy to be corrected, like not necessarily a system, but just like a preference of something, I do wait until we huddle. We huddle in the afternoon every day. And part of that huddle is reminders / announcements. So I just try to keep it systematic in that way. If it's a system, I try to think about it my own way and what I would change, but I always ask my team first what they think to see if it's in alignment with what I think. Because if they're not on board, I can't just say, I want it done this way if it's not within their philosophy or what they're seeing. So I always try to gauge them. And then if they're in disagreement with me, if we can meet in the middle somehow, I always try to do that. Because systems really require team effort. It's not just me dictating everything.
What's a specific system that you guys like kind of huddled together and your team was like, nah. And you're like, maybe I might bring it back up again sometime soon.
Well, we have changed our huddles and our lunch structure. It has changed over time since we opened. So my original two hires are still with me. So they have seen everything from the very beginning, including the name change. So
Yeah.
those first two. And then in the spring of this year, at around month 6, I hired an additional dental assistant. Now we have 3 full-time employees. So we needed a time to meet with each other because when we first opened, I was always with them all together all the time. And then as we started to get busier and they had to do things more independently, we decided to not take a lunch and just work. Then we needed a lunch because none of us were eating. So then we added a
Yeah.
lunch. And then we needed more spots to put patients. So then we took away the lunch. And then now we have one dedicated lunchtime, 1 hour on Wednesdays. And the first Wednesday of every month, I have one-on-ones with them. So we meet one-on-one, and that actually happened today. So I met with every employee for about 10, 15 minutes to check in, give feedback. They gave me their feedback. And so we're kind of like in a constant flow of communication so that no one feels not heard. Then the third Wednesday of every month, we have a staff meeting and lunch together, all of us. It's just a time to reconnect. And so that was something where I wouldn't say we were in disagreement with the system, but it definitely changed over time because of the needs of the practice.
So then break it down for me real quick. Can you give me an example of how does those one-on-ones look? And do you ever approach a one-on-one where you're like, can I have a one-on-one with you kind of a thing, or no?
No, not really.
Okay.
We're still so small. And I feel like they've been with me so long, even though we've only been open like 15 months, they've been with me through the beginning. So I feel like they know me very well. And I feel like I know them. I always leave it open-ended. You know, I want to hear what they have to say first. It has been interesting to hear them say, tell me if I'm doing something wrong because I want to fix it. And that's very interesting to me because, you know, you don't always know what people want or how they want feedback. And so
Yeah, I feel like that's super awesome if the team's like that. Like, hey, I want feedback because now you're open to just like, okay, I can tell you like, hey, but in a
yes.
nice way, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
you're not
Yeah.
doing it really well, kind of a thing or whatever. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. So that's awesome. So is there a part of your practice that you intentionally keep manual or human, even though you could automate it?
We do not utilize an AI answering phone because I know that whenever I call a doctor's office or call an office, I want to talk to a human. I first go online to see if I can book online, and I do offer online booking, and I'm a huge fan of it. And if I have a question or I can't get through that way, then if I call, I want to talk to a person. And I want to talk to a person that's in the office. I don't want
Gotcha.
someone that's, you know, remote or AI or anything like that.
What if it's like after hours or like when you're not open?
They have to leave a voicemail.
Do you think a voicemail's better than the AI?
I do.
Why?
I always bring it back to me and what I would want. I'd rather leave a message than get frustrated with an AI agent.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. That's a good perspective. So
Yeah.
then what invisible system do you think separates like a thriving practice from one that's just busy?
Oh, communication, big time. So making sure that everybody has the same communication, almost like scripting. So scripting is also part of our huddle. So if there is a question that keeps coming up from parents or something that I overhear them ask, and I'm like, okay, that's a good question that we all need to have a consistent answer on. What is a sealant? Are you in network with such and such? Why is the fee so high? Stuff like that. I want us all to have the exact same communication so it's all consistent and we're all on the same page
Nice. I like that. So you guys practice that all the time.
all the time.
You know, listening to Kristen talk about those early days, the highs, the quiet days, the stress, the questioning, it really highlights something most people don't think about. Now, when you open a practice, there are hundreds of factors that you can control. And one massive one you usually cannot control once you're open. And that's whether your location sets you up to succeed. And it's funny, we can diagnose cavities, do complex procedures, but choosing the right area for your practice, that's a completely different skill set. How do you know if there are actually enough families in that neighborhood? How do you know if competition is healthy or suffocating? And what lease terms help you stay profitable before your momentum kicks in, the way Kristen had to fight through? That's why I want to highlight Practice Real Estate Group. They're a healthcare only real estate firm. And since 2014, they've helped over 1,000 doctors open practices that fit their vision. Not just find a space, but actually choose the right pocket of town based on real data. It's demographics, competition mapping, future growth, all of that. And Kristen talked a lot about staying true to her non negotiables. And where you place your practice either supports that vision or makes it 10 times harder. And one of PRG's clients said something that stuck with me. They said, "This location was never listed. It's an opportunity I wouldn't have had without PRG." And that's what you want. Not guesswork, not vibes, but clarity. So if you're planning a startup or you're eyeing a second location, check out practicerealestategroup.com. That's practicerealestategroup.com. And if you mention this podcast, they'll actually run a free demographics plus competition study for the area you're considering. So go to practicerealestategroup.com or go in the show notes below and click on the first link in the show notes below, and it'll take you to the website. And it's going to be one of the smartest first steps before you commit to anything big. All right, let's get back to the interview. So then how big is your team?
4, including me. So I have an admin team member, and then I have 2 dental assistants. One, which I would say is flex between admin and clinical, because she does a lot of my insurance claims and processing my EOBs with the credits.
That's awesome. And then you said you've kept 2 of them. Okay. And then how many people have you had in total?
3. So my first 2 hires were with me from the very beginning, and then I added 1.
Oh, so everybody's been with you this whole time, kind of a
Sure.
thing. Like you haven't had to fire anybody or let someone go or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I even had my very first dental assistant. She had her 3rd baby during my first year of being open, and she came back. And I feel like that is such a positive thing. I couldn't believe it.
That's incredible. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So then having the knowledge that you have now, and also before when you were associating, right? How do you know when someone is protecting the practice's growth versus just protecting their job?
Oh, I mean, body language says a lot. The efforts that's put in and the way that they present themselves to you and others, like whenever you're not around, I think says a lot about a person. I also have a pretty, I wouldn't say strenuous job application, but I have a job application that people have to fill out, and it's digital in order to even come and talk to me. The first page of it, it's through fillout.com. I don't get any kickbacks or anything from them, but it's like pages where you complete one page and then you go to the next page. So the first page is all about my hours, my location, and managing expectations of this is the time that I expect you to be there. And then we work until this time. And these are the days that we work. So are you available on these days at this time? Yes or no? And then they can upload their resume. Then the next page is about their skills. So taking x-rays on young children, can you make an impression, assisting, mixing cement, stuff like that. And they grade themselves. Then the next section is admin things, answering the phone, customer service, conflict resolution, grade yourself. Then it talks about speaking other languages, what they hope to get out of a job, kind of open-ended, and then it gets submitted. And then that's where I actually set up interviews from when I'm going to go hire somebody.
Gotcha. Interesting. Has it ever happened where they graded themselves and it was all excellent, excellent, and then you're
Yes.
you're not excellent?
Well, if it is excellent and everything and there's no deviation from that, I usually don't consider that person.
Oh, why?
Nobody's perfect.
You're
What do you
right.
mean? I mean, I would not rate myself on excellent on every single skill.
Yeah. So is there one where you look at it and you're like, ooh, you put yourself as fair or poor? Maybe let me put you to the side for right now, kind of a thing. Is there one specific?
I don't think that's happened. The thing that I see is if it's someone applying for admin position on the dental things, they'll just put no experience. But I don't think I've had anyone actually in the dental field that put poor.
Or anything like that?
I think they usually just put no experience.
Okay. No, awesome. Awesome. It sounds like your team is fantastic. So then when a team member, let's just say they fail at something, how do you decide whether it's a training problem or a values problem?
Probably if I coach them through it after the fact because I try not to mention anything while a patient or parent is around. So if I approach them about it, depending on if they recognized that that was an issue or not before I even bring it up.
Walk me through it. I made an issue or something. Do you kind of like, hey, how do you feel today? And then I bring it up like that, or
How did you think that that went?
okay, gotcha. That's a good question. And if I'm like, oh, you know what, I messed up or something, then you're like, got it.
I'm
I
like,
got it.
yep, I agree. Sometimes I'll say, is there anything I could have done to help prevent that?
Do they ever reply back to that and say, like, yeah, you could have done this?
I feel like sometimes they'll tell me, like, yeah, if you let us know that you're going to use like this material instead of this one in the huddle. I did start doing that before the next day. I talk about the materials that I'm going to use that I want out. And that has helped prevent not having it ready.
That's really good, Kristen. That's something I've also kind of like, leadership takes a lot of humility.
Yes.
Like where you kind of have to be like, oh, it's my fault. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
People sometimes, we need to help guide to make it better for everybody. It's
Hmm.
huge.
Yeah. So then what's one leadership lesson you learned only after realizing you were the bottleneck?
I feel like some of this happened while I was in residency. I think asking others what I can do to help them from the start was probably a moment of growth. And I feel like that happened in residency before I started my associate job. Because I remember asking the assistants at my associateship, what can I do to help?
Yeah. And then they would kind of let you know. That's awesome. So your team is fantastic then. So let's kind of like dive into the marketing side because I know you told us that you had a company do your branding. Are they also doing your marketing as well?
They do not. So they do offer that. But I kind of decided against going with someone, quote unquote, full service. So I do a la carte with my marketing. I had my branding company, and that was Copilot. They are here in New Braunfels, local. He does a lot of artwork as well. So I wanted a mural in my office and I wanted like a photo op opportunity. I knew that if he did my logo and my branding and then the artwork and the murals in the office, then it would be cohesive in a cohesive brand. So he did that. Then Magnify did my website. So they do my Google ads and my SEO. And then my biggest ROI has been a local content creator. Her name is Allie Schneider, the social party marketing. They come in and they film me for 2 hours and they put together all the reels, schedule them out, and do all of that. But one other thing that she does is we meet and we come up with stories. So storytelling, again, being authentic, telling like why I opened this office, what I do differently, all the things that we can offer to this community. And we post it on the local Facebook groups. That is how people know me. And it is fabulous.
Interesting. I like that. So the
And you
local
can do
Facebook
that
group,
at $0. It's
the local
incredible.
Facebook groups, they allow you to kind of like, yeah, just post it kind of thing.
They do regulate it a little bit. So the ones in my town, they have business days. And so one of the big groups, it's Sunday, Wednesday, and then the other one is like Tuesday, Thursday, so they have it to where you can only post on those days if you're a business. So that's what we follow their guidelines.
Interesting. So then a la carte, is that more expensive or why did you decide that?
That's a good question. I've never actually looked at it from the cost standpoint, but I knew that I wanted that company because of the artwork and the murals and just the local factor. There's a ton of murals here in town. It's like a thing here, and I wanted that, and I wanted to bring that in. They're pediatric centric, and so many of my colleagues use them. So yes, great. And then I wanted my content. I didn't want it to look like a professional videographer came in to film me. And like for a short period of time, I did do it myself. And I feel like you can't even tell that it's like me versus her. I wanted it to look authentic. And I feel like the way to capture that is with an iPhone and just like come in and just like, let's just shoot content here. I didn't want like the Born Identity,
Yeah.
cinematography.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like me. So that was part of my reasoning. I wanted someone here and I wanted it to seem local and as true to me.
Yeah. Did you notice a huge spike in ROI when you transitioned it from like you doing it to this person? doing it?
Well, so what's interesting about her is she was there with me before I opened. So she filmed the content before I opened during some of the construction and everything. So she did that. And then I got the cease and desist. And so I took a break. I couldn't advertise anything. So took a few months off from that. And then in the spring, I hired her back. And so I didn't see a huge difference. You know, it was just time.
Yeah.
And I was able to advertise more. So
How many new patients are you getting a month?
we average around 50 to 75 right now. My biggest month was August, and it was 111. I was so excited to have over 100 in 1 month. We had scheduled over 100 in a month, but they were not scheduled within that month. So like actually like calling and scheduling people, yes, we had made 100, but I actually like scheduled 111 within 1 month. And I was so excited about that.
Wow, that's incredible. So then with this, you said the biggest ROI has been her coming in, recording you, coming up with stories, right?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, if someone's listening and they're like, I want that, what's the budget for that?
Well, and it depends on what their deliverables are. So are they just doing videos and reels, or are they doing reels plus still photos? So I think you kind of have to customize it. You might have to test the water a little bit, but I would say anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, I think is fair for a month's worth of content to be filmed in one session, scheduled out, ready to go, and it's done. That's it. It's so wonderful. The owners need to, or whoever is in the content, like whatever your practice, I think you need to be involved. Come with ideas, do some research. Like, don't just leave it all on the content creator, because I don't think that'll get your point across. And I think patients will be able to tell, like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
people know that I'm helping come up with these ideas because it's like true to me and who I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's your baby, it's your brand. So
Yeah.
then I guess with that in mind, like what have you seen work best? Whether it's like, is it just videos? Is it videos and some pictures?
Definitely both. What we do is the stories that we post on the local Facebook pages, and that can be dental related or not. I mean, we always try to tie it back into dentistry, but some of my biggest likes, like over 200 likes on a single post, when like normally it's like 10 to 15, have been my stance on dental insurance and how that impacted how I set my practice up. And then a post about I had an adverse event with the COVID vaccine, and that was my experience, and it affected the way that I practice, and that I give so much more autonomy now to the parents because we can't always guarantee results. And so I want them to be very confident about their decisions that they're making for their children. A post about what I use as a treat, like dark chocolate. And like, that's what I give Amelia as her treat. Like that got quite a few likes and comments. And I was like, wow, this is great. And so we try to take those, and then we use a still image and we post that on the other social media channels, like the Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all of that.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Kind of reused or recycled in a way.
That's interesting. So then have you ever made a marketing decision based on gut feeling, but then that data later proved right?
Oh my gosh. When we were going to post about dental insurance and the COVID vaccine, those ones, I mean, I'm like sweating talking about it because I was so nervous I was going to get backlash and lose patients, and like no one's going to come to me and they're going to form these opinions about me. But those have been my biggest. I wish I would have written down when I posted that, and then the next 7 days, how many new patient calls we got, because it was like spikes. Yes, in a positive way.
Wow. So can you duplicate
And
that?
I was really, really nervous about posting those.
The content creator, the one who works with you, she was more like, just do it kind of a thing?
I'm pretty sure. I think she was like, I'm going to post it. Are you going to be okay? And I'm like, I'm not okay. Everything she posted it. I'm like,
Yeah, but it's
I don't know what to
interesting.
do. Yeah.
That's a good, like, I guess, case study to realize, like, hey, maybe that's what we should be kind of talking about
That
a
it
little bit
was
more.
real. And like, that's, I think, what makes the biggest impact is not just random stuff. It's like stuff that has emotion because it actually happened, it's actually real. Oh, another huge one was me talking about my name change. Yeah, posted that.
So it's
Yeah.
like these high tension posts, right?
Yeah.
COVID, name change, insurance. Huh. Interesting. So then what's the hidden cost of marketing that most practice owners that you realize never factor in? And how did you manage it?
Time. the time spent coming up with the ideas, thinking back and reflecting on things that you talk to patients about where they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Or like, why didn't anyone ever tell me that? And actually spending time reflecting on that and writing it down and staying organized to make it into a piece of content.
So do you ever think that's possible where people are like, I just want my marketing company to do everything, just delegate it all, guys, bring me patients, that's it. And then you never worry about that.
Not in a startup, especially one that is not contracted with insurance. I think it's possible with multiple locations maybe, or highly dependent on heavy insurance participation, which there is a place for that. Absolutely. It just doesn't really fit into the way that I practice dentistry. I think that you could potentially put that on autopilot almost, or delegate it completely to someone else.
Yeah. But if you're in like your situation where it's completely different.
Yeah, I feel like it's completely different because I feel like people are coming to my practice. They've seen me and they've heard my story. And so they want me to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It is me. So
Like, it is me. I am there.
it's
Interesting.
me. Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
like
greet patients at the front and they're like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, it's this me.
Like it is me. That says something though. That's good. So then mindset and resilience. If we dive into that, your mindset and your resilience. What did you have to unlearn to grow your practice to where it is now?
Okay, so this was interesting. Resilience, number one, I learned a lot from my parents. My parents are serial entrepreneurs. They've owned over 20 different kinds of businesses. So I have watched them start over so many times. So me opening up a dental practice where I've got all these Facebook groups and I've got all these resources and all these colleagues that I can ask questions, they didn't have any of that. So that taught me a lot of resilience, and I take a lot of that learning from them. But then unlearning, this was interesting. So in the practice, I feel like I have to have a lot of humility, and I have to ask my staff for a lot of feedback, try to help make their lives easier and all of that. But then out to the world to get patients and talking to referring doctors and things like that, I feel like I have to be so self-promoting. And that is a hard dichotomy. And I don't really like to be self-promoting. I don't really enjoy that. And I had to do and have to do so much of that. And it sometimes really pushes me out of my comfort zone. But you have to do it. You have to promote yourself, because how else are you going to get patients to survive in this? I think that you have to do that.
Yeah. Do you ever think you'll slow down?
Maybe.
The self-promoting. Because like when everything looks successful on paper, right? I mean, like you're getting 60, 70, 50, even 111, right? New patients, things are going good, profitable. How do you keep from drifting into autopilot?
Oh, I mean, dentistry is so interesting because every day starts over, essentially, especially in the startup phase. You don't ever feel like super comfy because every day starts over on that production, and you know your break-even point and you have to reach it, and then you have to exceed it and all of that. And your expenses only go up. In my experience, your expenses only go up. So has to constantly be building. So I don't know if that ever happens.
No, that's interesting. So then what's something you once thought was a weakness in yourself, Kristen, but that ended up being a strength as a business owner?
Honesty, probably. I mean, I'm just so honest, and I'm like so straightforward with everyone. Sometimes it's like oversharing. Like I lay my cards out. I'd be an awful poker player. Like I just tell everybody everything. But I also feel like it has helped me build a strong team, and they know me and they're able to communicate on my behalf because they know me so well, because I'm so honest with everybody.
I feel like just based on off of our conversation right now, I'd probably say it is that, like transparency. You can think like, hey, why are you sharing all this? Nobody needs to know all the details.
Yeah.
Just tell them like you're going through a hard time. That's it. But you being like that, it also shows like the vulnerability side to your team. You know what I mean? And then they're like, man, we gotta help them out. Yes. Connection. Yeah. Interesting. So with that being said, what's been one of the most painful mistakes or failures you went through in your practice? Something you wouldn't want to repeat, but you're glad it happened?
The name change. Definitely. I thought I was going to be able to fight it, because my motto this whole time has been, I'm either going to do it my way or I'm not going to do it at all. Like I would rather not practice dentistry than do it in a way that I don't want to. So when I got that letter, I'm like, I'm going to fight this and I'm going to win. And even though every attorney I talked to, they were like, Yes, you can probably win, but it's going to cost you $250,000.
Oh, wow.
Like, and they were like, and even, okay, so then my next question is, okay, but if I win, do I get the money back? And they said, no. Okay. So we're just going to change the name.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if a trademark would have changed anything, honestly.
So there was
I
nothing you could have done to prevent it or
I
anything?
just don't think so. I mean, I did all the checks because it wasn't an exact match. And so, I mean, it was painful to go through, but man, I feel like I came out on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to hear other people say, well, I like this name better. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
That's good. That's good. But not that we're like trying to pin the blame on anyone, but is there like a fault of someone? Like maybe, hey, we should have looked through this and you didn't, kind of a
Oh,
thing?
that would
Or
have been on me. I mean, because I was the one who came up with both of them.
you said you checked it out and then it went through and then it's still
Yeah.
interesting. Huh.
It was a good learning experience. I mean, I don't know if I have been through anything like that before in my life, and the strain of that and having to make a decision. You know, making a decision to jump into ownership is one thing, but then you're in it. Okay. And then now you're like, oh no, I have to change my name and stop advertising. What am I going to do? Can I stay afloat? It's tough.
That's really tough. Yeah. With that, out of all the companies you've worked with, services, softwares, and things like that, which external company has had the biggest impact on your growth or sanity?
If you're in any of the Facebook groups, you know, if anyone asks about cloud-based software, I am a huge proponent of Archie. I love my patient management software, electronic health record, whatever you want to call it. Going cloud-based was an easy decision for me, but then actually making the decision on which one was challenging. And Archie came in at the very last minute. And when I demoed them, they checked my most important boxes, which were communication related. And I chose them and I'm so happy. I have no regrets. They are fabulous.
Nice. Okay.
And all my staff love it too, which is great. I don't have to do any trainings. They just get it. And then sometimes they know how to do stuff that I don't know how to do and they show me. I'm like, okay, great. That's wonderful. Yes.
Really cool. Keep doing it. Awesome.
Keeping
Yeah.
awesome.
I like that. Awesome. So then these next questions are just to get to know you a little bit more so our audience can dive into your mind. If
Okay.
you could invest in one currency that's not monetary, like kindness, innovation, integrity, which would you choose to enrich your business and why?
I think it has really solidified based on this podcast, authenticity. Being true to yourself, I think, shows the best part of yourselves. And if it comes through in your business as well, it really pays off. And humans are so unique and dentists are so unique, each in their own way, that there's, I think, a place for all of us, you know? And so I think being true to yourself, you get the patients that match up with that. And then everybody's vibing together and it's fabulous.
I like that a lot. And then who in your life has given you the best business advice that was completely unexpected? And what was the advice?
So my parents are always my business advisors because they've been through so much. One of the things that my dad always said was to pay yourself first. I have done a little bit of that, not completely and not consistently, but I do feel like I always have him in the back of my head saying, pay yourself first because you're the most important part of this whole thing. So definitely my parents. I'm always texting them, asking them what do they think about this and that.
That's good to have like mentors like that to bounce back off, especially your parents, because they're also going to be like, they're looking out for like not just.
Yeah, and they've been at business since 1983. I mean, they've been through a lot.
All right, one of the last questions is if your patients could describe your practice without using the word dentist, what would you want them to say?
What would I want them to say? Calm.
Huh? Why?
Or tranquil, maybe. I think that when people imagine a pediatric dental office, they envision in their brain or hear a lot of noise. And I am here to say that it is very quiet in my practice. And I like it that way. And I want it to be that way because I want it to be a calm space. To me, noise is like overstimulating and maybe raises our cortisol levels and stress hormones and things like that. And so I want it to be calm to make it a positive experience. And I know that that does not necessarily match up with what some patients want, but then that's where there are so many other pediatric dentists where, you know, it's a different vibe and that's great and they can seek care there. But
Yeah.
calm, tranquil.
I love that. Calm. I haven't heard that one. It's to just
Oh,
be like,
really?
yeah,
Wait, what do other people say?
I don't know. Well, you can listen, but people say like, I don't know, just different things like happy, fun, joyful, ready, but calm, peace.
No, I want it to be tranquil. I
Yeah.
want it to be like a yoga studio.
Is that what you would want your team to also feel or
Yes.
different?
Yes, definitely. Calm.
So all around, everybody just feel calm.
Everybody's calm, chill. I always tell people, I'm like, it's chill vibes here. It's chill.
What was the word? Remember when we were at the event that everybody didn't know but knew?
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Crunchy bombs.
Right now, when you said chill vibes, it made me think of that. Crunchy.
Chill
And I was
vibes.
like,
And I still cannot believe how many people did not know that term because that's one of the Facebook groups is Crunchy Moms.
I've never heard of
That's like
crunchy
one of the
before. What does it mean again?
is trying to live your life or raise your family in like a holistic way, sustainable way. So some things are like dye free, or like maybe you try homeopathic medicines before you try pharmaceutical medicines, or, you know, you reduce, recycle, reuse. Maybe you choose the bamboo toothbrush over the plastic one, cocoa floss over plastic floss.
You said more females know about that than men, right? Or something like that?
Yes, and you proved me wrong. I mean, I was shocked because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my persona. I attract that because I believe in that. And so we are all self-selecting each other. And I feel like we're in a bubble, but no one else knows him.
Nobody, if you're listening and if you know what crunchy meant, please let us know.
Please let us know in
Review.
the comments what it means to you.
Yeah, what it means to you. It's like crunchy Cheetos.
Because
Yeah.
everybody has kind of different opinions of it too. You know, like I use, toothpaste with hydroxyapatite as well as fluoride in it. But then a lot of these families are trying to avoid fluoride and I can cater to that, so it's interesting and it's fun.
Awesome. Kristen, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure. But before we say
Absolutely.
goodbye, can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram, Kristen Self, and feel free to DM me or message me. I'm always answering questions through DMs, and I'll give you my phone number. My practice is called River Smiles Pediatric Dentistry. You can follow us on Instagram. It's River Smiles NB, as in New Braunfels. And then from there, you can find our other channels.
Awesome. So that's all going to be in the show notes below. And Kristen, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure, and we'll hear from you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Before we wrap up, I keep thinking about something Kristen said toward the end. She built her practice around who she really is: calm, minimal, intentional, transparent. And because of that, she attracts families who resonate with that sort of vibe. But here's the part we don't talk about enough. You can have the right philosophy, the right systems, the right team, but if your location doesn't match the people you're trying to serve, everything becomes harder than it needs to be. That's where Practice Real Estate Group comes in. These guys aren't general brokers. They specialize exclusively in helping dentists choose the right geographic pocket to build a thriving practice. They dig into household profiles, income levels, population growth, school district, pediatric densities, everything Kristen's model depends on. And they even go further. They'll map your competition, show you where patients are underserved, and help negotiate lease terms that protect your investment instead of draining it. Since 2014, they've helped over 1,000 doctors open or expand practices. And so many of them echo the same thing. PRG, Practice Real Estate Group, showed me opportunities I never would have found on my own. So if you're planning a startup, relocating, or thinking about a second or third location, head to practicerealestategroup.com. That's practicerealestategroup.com. And if you mention this podcast, they'll give you a completely free demographics and competition study for any area you're considering. There's no pressure, no commitment, just data and clarity. Again, that's practicerealestategroup.com, or you can go in the show notes and click on the first link in the show notes below, and it will take you to the website. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast and tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.